I'm Vivian. I live in Larchmont, New York, and I was born in New York. And my mother's Brazilian, my father's Italian-American, and I went to boarding school in New Hampshire, but I go to Georgetown now in Washington, D.C., and I'm studying in Puki for 6 months.
What would you say was your exposure to Brazilian culture, Portuguese, before arriving here?
I ate a lot of rice and beans. I had a lot of the food here. Coxinhas, brigadeiros. Not really much else. I heard a lot of Portuguese just when my mom spoke to her family or to other people, but nothing. She never really spoke it to me. I knew a few little words growing up, but not very much.
Yeah. So why are you here?
To better connect with my mom and her culture, and to learn Portuguese and be able to speak with her. I don't know much about the culture, so my stereotypes are just the same as everyone else in America, which would just be the beaches with the bikinis, and beautiful women. But being here, stereotypes about Americans I haven't really found, because most people I met speak English and they've been to America and have family in America, so they are very cultured. My accent's definitely more advanced or more natural than most people, I think, because I've heard it growing up. I look a little bit more Brazilian than most people, which is helpful just in terms of me feeling comfortable walking around. There's nothing I don't like about it. I have a Brazilian passport, so that's really useful to getting into the country and not dealing with visas. It's completely different because my sisters, neither of them take Portuguese, neither of them, one of my sisters takes Chinese, so she has no connection to Brazil at all. She doesn't understand a word that my mother says. I think that's her choosing not to more than, because we were both raised the same. But it's definitely different because I chose to go down the path to figure out more about my mom's culture, and my sisters just chose to go a different path. I mean, my mom was orphaned at 13, so she's not educated at all, and I suppose that makes for a great story when I was applying for college. That to have an immigrant mother who's didn't graduate high school, and then here I am going to college and studying abroad and doing all these wonderful things. So yeah, it's affected my life. Just in terms of comparison, but I don't think that it's hindered her at all. I knew how to sing like Happy Birthday, I knew some lullabies. She just thought it was rude. At the time there weren't any Brazilians in the area, and she thought it was rude to speak Portuguese in the house when her husband couldn't. And I mean, looking back now, she wishes she had, but because it's more populated with Brazilians, my area, but at the time no one spoke Portuguese. So
Did your dad ever consider learning it?
I don't think so. I mean, he can say a few things, but he understands more than we like to believe. He's never really formally learned it.
Yeah. And what do you think it's like for your mom, sort of like living between two worlds? Does she ever talk about missing Brazil, or do you feel like she's really sort of like coming to her own in the United States?
Well, she's the first person in her family to leave the United States, and just like 3 or 4 years ago, she became a U.S. citizen. So I think she's happy to be doing something different, but I'm sure it's a struggle not being with your family. But she was always the youngest by many years.
Wow.
It wasn't like, I don't think she was as close to their family as you could be. I mean, I love being Brazilian American. I'm definitely more American than Brazilian, but hopefully after this, when I'm going to be fluent, I can say I'm both.
Yeah.
Que ótimo!